This month the sun came out for the first time this year, so I went to Abney Park. Abney Park is one of the Magnificent Seven Victorian cemeteries in London. The term Magnificent Seven is a relatively recent one. It was coined by Hugh Mellor in his 1981 book, London Cemeteries, An Illustrated Guide and Gazetteer. Before they were established, there weren't really any big cemeteries in London. Instead, most people were buried in the yard of a parish church. But by the 19th century, many of those churches had been around for hundreds, or in the case of St Paul's, over 1,000 years. They were pretty full. So the Magnificent Seven were built in the 1830s and 40s to alleviate the underground overcrowding in London. They are Kensal Green, West Norwood, Highgate, Abney Park, Nunhead, Brompton and Tower Hamlets. The land of Abney Park had once belonged to a nonconformist hymn writer, a chap called Isaac Watts, so the place soon became associated with the burials of those who followed non-mainstream religious sects. For example, the founders of the Salvation Army, William and Catherine Booth, are buried here, and many of their members followed suit. In the 1970s, though, the company that ran the cemetery went under, and the place was abandoned, and nature starts to reclaim it. So it's a perfect place to get cool, Instagrammable shots of sad angels or rows of ivy-covered headstones. You'll see all the usual Victorian symbols of death: crosses, sad angels, obelisks, broken pillars, handshakes. This place is pretty cool, right? Victorians sure knew how to die. But after even a cursory glance into the undergrowth, the sheer number of burials here starts to take its toll on you. There are so many headstones, and most aren't on any path. They've been completely forgotten. You couldn't find them if you wanted to. Even the expensive ones are in a state of complete disrepair. And this is just one cemetery for less than 200 years, and these are just the headstones that have survived. Obviously, I'm not advocating we strip back all the foliage. That would really damage the local wildlife who've moved in, but it's a pretty depressing sight nonetheless. Sometimes what will have seemed like a path just cuts right over a grave, and you've just got to walk over the grave. Obviously, the big statuesque graves are the eye-catching ones, but every now and again, you'll come across a clump of tiny headstones that have just been shoved up against each other. And each one represents someone who lived and breathed and was loved and had their own thoughts and a rich interior life. And this is how we'll all end up. Except for a few kings and queens and the guys that the pyramids were built for, any permanent trace we try and leave behind will be gone in a few hundred years at most. People who knew us will die off, and their kids won't visit our graves. And eventually, someone at the council will decide that the space needs to be cleared for new records, and will be paved over or bunched up somewhere. Many of the stones are numbered, so someone was obviously keeping records at some point, but since the company went under, those seem to have been lost. They're still trying to catalogue all the names here. And that's a pretty horrifying thing to contemplate, which is why I don't like graveyards very much. I mean, they look pretty, but does that make up for the creeping sense of existential dread? I don't know, maybe it's just me. There were loads of people in the park that day, enjoying the sun and walking their dogs, and seemingly not troubled at all by the reminder that they too will die. Maybe I'm just horribly neurotic. On the other hand, I did find one or two broken headstones that have been meticulously repaired, so someone was looking after those people, at least until the place went under. And maybe some of them would have preferred it that way, all overgrown and wild. I mean, Victorians were goth as all hell, and some headstones actually had ivy carved onto them already. Now, if I was the guy with the sleeping lion, I'd be pretty happy with how things turned out, to be honest, but let's face it, there's no way I'll ever get to be the sleeping lion guy. The vast, vast majority of us are destined for the little stones.